Good.
Sure. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're live, baby. Let's go. Kenzie, you came
Never
from,
lie.
once again, you came straight from Soul Cycle. Is that
Yes. I was out there
okay? So
cycling my soul, which, if for those that don't know, it's a stationary bike to club music.
I'm gonna go with Tanner to DC the week of his birthday, and there's a solid core that's by it. And I really want to take a class because there's a girl that I follow, Courtney Page, a Page of Positivity, is her Instagram. But she's a friend, but she's always going to solid core. I've never been, and I also like literally haven't done like a real actual good workout in months.
Wait,
And so
you
I'm
need
afraid
to go.
I feel like I would embarrass the shit out of myself. Like I would just it would be so embarrassing, but I want to go because I want to have the shakes.
No, listen. Okay, so I in college was like really into boutique fitness because I lived in DC, and I did it all. Like I did all the different type of cyclings. I did boxing. I did like all sorts of things, and I considered myself to be like a pretty fit person. Like not ripped, but like I could be in the front of Soul Cycle. Solid core is the hardest thing. Like within 2 minutes, I was like, is this the first time I'm gonna have to walk out of a class? Like I just
And also, yeah.
like
Well,
it's
and like
just that intense.
yeah, and Courtney is like the type that will be like, "Oh yeah, I ran 6 miles this morning, and now I'm walking on the treadmill for 12 miles just to answer some emails." And like she's going every like probably 3 times a week or whatever. And so like I get the vibe that this is a very hard class, and like I simply like haven't done cardio in a very long time. Except for when I got my medical exam a couple weeks ago when they failed me because they were like, "You're not safe to be operating machinery." He was like, "Oh, you must be like a, a runner or something because
Mhm.
my like
Resting
my
heart rate,
numbers."
yeah.
And I was like, little do you know, I haven't done like I have obviously like the level of working out I did like being like in college athletics or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I was in an intense workout.
Yeah.
Like the last year, I have just slowly done the saddest nosedive one has ever seen. Uh, with my relationship to like working out.
Yeah.
So, but like I want to go because it's like
No, you
literally right
definitely
there.
need to go.
But
And what I can remember is and they could have changed it. This was like literally 4 years ago. You start with abs, and I think of the Pilates type workout when you're on a reformer, abs are the hardest. And then you do like arms and legs. So like you're gonna like want to die in the first couple of minutes, and then I think it will get better because you have stronger legs and arms. Well, I don't know about you, but like a typical person has
right.
stronger limb strength than core strength. But
Mhm.
oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. I can't wait for you to report back.
Well, I haven't signed
No,
up
you
because
have to do it now.
but I think I need to like have that as a reward. Like if I work out all next week a little bit, then I can
I think they
go.
do say
But
like you
also
need to be
like
able to hold a plank for like 2 minutes or something before you sign up. Or maybe it's like one
okay,
minute. Just to like make
I
sure
can do
that
that.
okay. Well, I'm sure you could. I was just
I don't
saying.
know that, but like yeah, if someone asked me to do that, I would do it, and even if it was horrible, like the mental toughness, I would just be like, no, I'm
Well,
doing
and that's
this.
the thing about this, like
Um,
that's why I really like fitness classes is like just the sheer peer pressure of being in the room. Like no matter how terrible it is, like I'm not gonna embarrass myself.
yeah. Well, I just like what I loved about like so obviously like college workouts, like they were very intense and horrible. But like I just loved someone else yelling at me and telling me exactly what I needed to do and not
Hmm.
having to think about like because for me like my gym's in the basement and it's like, well, I could just like run upstairs and do this or do that real quick and then sure I'll come back and like just
Yeah.
I never plan out a workout in advance or whatever, but I don't know. Anyway,
How was your week? Are you hauling? How's the
yes.
farm?
So I'm hauling. So if you'd asked me at like 1 p.m. how I was doing on hauling this week, I'd be like, I'm crushing it. I'm ahead of schedule. Things are looking up. So like here's the dealio. I owe $110,000 two bills on Saturday. And so I'm like, okay, go off, Queen. We're gonna sell some corn, which is like not how you're supposed to market at all. But like, it's worked out okay for this sale just because like the markets are up and like
Hmm.
I made the sale a couple weeks ago or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, but I was like, okay, well, if I get all this hauled, I won't have to take money on my operating loan to like pay these bills. Well, Poet had other plans for me because so I'm like cruising along today. Today was going to be like my most efficient day because I had meetings yesterday and blah 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 blah. Like things were holding me up, and so I'm like cruising along. I'm like I'm gonna get like 7 or 8 loads hauled today. So I get 4 loads hauled. Everything's all good. I go with my fifth load. Let's back up. Fourth load, not a single person there. No one there. I'm in and I'm out. I'm like, let's go. I show up. The line's to the road. Like, oh boy, that's interesting because that's like I don't know, 20 trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to form the second line. So like in there's
Mm-hmm.
like the long line and then there's like two overflow lines. I have to
Mm-hmm.
start the next line, which is always intimidating because then like you have to like hope that other people are paying attention, aren't being stupid and cutting you in line.
Yeah.
Um, but like a couple people go and like things are moving up and I'm getting like closer towards the front and we get a text and we're like something obviously is going wrong because like the line should be moving
Yeah.
a little bit faster. And like they're only dumping in one of the three pits. It's
Mm-hmm.
what people are saying because you actually can't see that far in advance.
Mm-hmm.
But we get a text that's like, "Hey, we're closed." And I was like, "Huh, interesting. We're like in
Right, that's
line.
crazy. I'm
Like there's
literally
sure
here.
like and like we like they've had stuff like that happen before. Like if something goes down, they're like, okay, take this like last load, we'll get you dumped, and then you can get out, you can skedaddle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the line doesn't move for like an hour, and it's like 2 or 3 or something. I don't know. I'm losing track of time. But I finally make it into like the single file line. So like people are moving. It's moving along. And then I noticed two ladies from like the scale house are coming out and they're talking to people in trucks. And then I start to see trucks leave. And I'm like, oh boy. And so trucks are leaving and there was like 6 trucks ahead of me at this point, and I'm like towards the front because like
Mm-hmm.
a handful of people left, but like I'm in a line. You can't deviate from this line. There's no room to go
Mm-hmm.
because everyone's in semi trucks. And so I pop up and I just talked to the person in front of me because he had talked to the ladies and I assumed the ladies were then kind of like just keep coming back in
Mm-hmm.
line. But then they like talked to him and then they walked away. And so I get
Not
out of my truck. I'm
helpful.
like, hey, it's like, hey, what's the gossip? What's the tea? Help me out, homie. And he's like, so what I heard, so what I had heard. No, so
We watched
like
misinformation spread in that moment.
well, it was so funny, but like the misinformation, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. I think the girls in the scale house, like they were getting, it's like an airport. Like, there's the guy who's actually at the plane that knows what's going on, and then that goes to other people. And so then, like, by
Mm-hmm.
the time it gets to the scale house, girls have to like come out and talk to people. Like, they don't really know what's up.
Yeah.
And, but so they send the girl who's been there since
I don't think we should
January
call
out.
them Scale House girls, by the way.
No, I'm so, I'm okay. I'm sorry. These are girls who are
Women.
women 18 to 19-year-old women who like this might be like I don't know. I don't want to make any assumptions. Some of them have been there a long time.
Women that work in the
I
Scale
know
House.
okay, I know women who work in the scale house who call themselves the scale house girls.
No, and that's fine. I just like I don't know
Yeah.
these girls, so I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah. I apologize to these women. I guess I don't know what their preferred titles are. And there's one guy who every once in a while will
Love
like be
that.
probing
Our
things.
Scale House
So
man.
the scale house man.
Sir.
So okay, so this girl who was obviously younger than who's like, this is my first job ever. I can't believe they're throwing me out here while it's pouring down rain to talk to all these truckers, and I have to be the person to be
Hate
like, hey,
that.
I don't care if you hauled an hour here. You gotta go.
Yeah, hate
um.
that. They're like,
So
who's the most vulnerable person at this
yeah,
establishment? You
yeah,
girls we all refer to as Scale House girls. You have the hardest job of telling everybody, turn it around.
yeah. But
Classic. Classic.
anyway. So she doesn't come to talk to me. So I have to go get the scoop from someone else, and he's like, um. So they're full and things are broken, but like the one place that they can dump into, they can only grind as much corn as like you can dump in as much as they grind, which is allegedly 2,200 bushels an hour. I have no idea if this is factual or not. um and so he's like, and so there's like a couple trucks ahead of him, so he's like, we might not even get dumped till 6 p.m. It's like 3 right now, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I've been here since 1:20, but like Scalehouse girl like told some people and they left, so like I've made my way towards the front, and this guy's like, the guy in front of me is like, well, I'm gonna stay because like, what else am I gonna do? Go
Does
home?
that mean you have to also stay because
No,
you're
no, I
like
could have
behind
gotten out of
him? Okay.
at that point. We had some gaps in room,
That feels rude
and so
that he has to make the decision for the
yeah.
whole
So
line.
no, 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 no. So people, so some people are just like trickling out, like they see the big picture and they're just opting to go. But also like the girl is not going with a sense of urgency to like talk to every trucker
She probably
because
had
like,
one negative experience. It was like, I
well,
don't get
no, no,
paid
no. It's
enough,
like
and then walked out.
she doesn't know what to do. I don't. She. Yeah. And I don't want to give too much of her personal information. But like she had plans tonight. Like she couldn't go. Like no one was having a good time. But she was a lovely, lovely, very nice person. Um,
Adult woman.
but so anyway, so she's like getting further information. So she goes back in the skill house. So I'm like, oh, and she tells me like we might be able to dump a few of you guys. Unclear if we'll actually be able to, but like after you three, I'm gonna send everyone else home because like there's no like it would be like 9 p.m. Oh, 10 p.m. Like we'd be here all night, and that's ridiculous for like one load. Just like hit the road, Jack. And so she's going to get further information. So I take it upon myself. I'm like, I'll just talk to like two or three truckers just so that they're not sitting there not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
And so I go to the first person. I'm like, hey, allegedly, this is what's going on. Not going to tell you what to do, but like, just so you're aware, like, this is the information I've heard. And the guy's like, well, I drove X hours. I'm
See,
like,
now
okay,
everyone's
I'm just
making
like,
it your problem.
yeah,
That's why
I'm just
you
letting you
can't
know.
do that. You have to just.
No, 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 but perfectly nice. But I also like it was like I was just gonna be sitting in my own truck with all the information I had in my hands, and so I was just like, I'll just talk to some people, shake some hands, kiss some babies. Maybe they'll give me some goodwill when my truck breaks down. I need someone to help
You're
me on
like,
the side of the
hey,
road.
follow me, Farm Zoe.
No, I would literally never. No,
You're like, this is a
no.
great
If I
time
wanted
to
that, I would.
network.
That I would just stick like a at Farmer Zoe on like the side of my truck, and I'm never gonna do that because then they'll see me doing dumb stuff in line and not knowing what's going on. But I did make like 4 TikToks while I was waiting.
Of course you did.
But anyway, so I go into the next one and I tell him what's up, and like he's like, okay, like they're not believing me, and so I'm like, okay, they don't believe women, not really, but 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 I like also like when I went up to them, I was like, hey, this is all allegedly
They
because
say,
I don't want to be
who's this
pretending
Gale House girl? It's Zoe.
this scale girl. I'm like, no, no, no. I'm the one in the white truck. You see all these white trucks here? Yeah, I'm in one of them. I can't turn it off because my battery was dead this morning. So, like I could be saving a minute amount of fuel, but no, I can't because if I turn this thing off, we don't know if it'll start. Okay, but anyway, if they sit there idle, like they burn literally like not very much fuel. But anyway, so I like talking to these people. Like I know I'm not going to get anywhere, and like these people, like, and also like I was just like, this is all alleged.
Yes,
So like
okay.
I start off being sketchy, but
We
I
need a
because
resolution, Zoe.
anyway, so the girl's like, you guys can't wait. I don't know if you'll get
A
dumped or
woman
not. And
said,
the woman said, I don't know if you guys are gonna get dumped, but whatever. And so the guy ahead of me is like, cool. And I was like, but like, you could go home. I think it'd be a good idea for you to go home because like if he goes home, I save an hour. Like,
yes, yes,
and so like we're joking, obviously,
yeah.
and like he knows this, but I was like, but really, it would make a lot of sense if you left. He's like, I'm
You're
staying,
like,
and I
I'll
was
give
like,
you a
good,
shout
good.
out on Instagram. He's like, what's
No, well, no,
Instagram?
no, and I was literally like, it's too bad I don't have my wallet because like I could just bribe you with $20 to leave, but like didn't have anything on me. And I wanted money for the pop machine because I had a sparse lunch and I was getting hungry. I ate some sad almonds, but anyway, so and then it was like not too long. It was like an hour and 15 minutes until I dumped. So it was like there was like three trucks. So it was a little bit faster than predicted, but it was so funny because I like get on the scale. This is all allegedly. I don't want to get anyone in trouble. I'm sure no one that works at Poet is listening to the story right now. And if they are, they're deeply offended because they're scale house women. But they were like, go to this pit. It's working great. If it's not working, just try your best.
Oh my gosh.
Like
They have
it's
the
just fun.
worst day of their lives.
Oh, it was no. There's definitely been like a lot of days like that there. Like it, with all with all places with all
With
like
all scale
equipment
house
goes
women,
down.
they all.
With all scales, they all have to deal like because no trucker if they have to walk out to your truck,
Bad
things are not
news.
good.
They're
Like
trying to
they
not
never
talk to you.
Except for every once in a while, like last year, they were trying to get some goodwill with people just because the lines were so long that they would come with like one morning we all get McMuffins, and so they were just literally walking out with like
A muffin
McMuffins.
man.
Yeah, it's like this is amazing. But it's also sometimes like the guy who's like the head guy in charge, like he'll bring out the good food. Like sometimes they'll grill some things, but
That's so
I don't
funny
know.
about food. I'm doing this training at work and it's like volunteer, so I'm like trying to get people to come. And I was like, what if I bring donuts? 20 people were like, I'll be there. It's so funny how food
Well,
will
and it's
encourage people to show
Well,
up.
and it's like in reality, it's like, okay, I'm sitting in this line for 4 hours. Like one egg McMuffin for $3 is not worth my time. But like the way
It
it wins me
makes you feel
over,
good.
yeah. And but then also it's like it's bad because then I'm like, oh, I'm at the real line. Like, is any food gonna show up?
So,
And the likelihood is no.
yeah, you're just you can't have that expectation.
Yeah. And let me quickly end this story.
It's
So
still
they're gonna be
not
closed
done.
tomorrow. They're gonna be closed tomorrow, and then they're gonna be closed half of the day. So like I've lost all sight. Like I'll get like about maybe half of my money,
And she
but I'm
was
gonna have to like
never a
borrow
trucker
some money to pay my
again.
bills. But
Well,
yeah,
don't
I
come to me. I have
plummeted.
no money. But what I do have is a new lease agreement. They only raised my rent $55 a month, which, like, sure, to some people, that sounds like not good.
A
To
lot.
me,
Yeah.
music to my ears. I'll
Well,
stay.
because remember the one time it was like, oh, we're just raising it like $600 a month or something
My
crazy.
first apartment, I got a COVID deal, so it was 1,500 a month. They raised it to 2,500 a month. They raised it $1,000 a month. Like,
Well, they raised it like over 100%, right?
yeah,
Or
and they could do
55.
that for
Okay,
COVID
so
because they made all of these things about like normally there's like laws in which how much you can increase someone's rent. But when they cut me a COVID deal, I signed that like I knew I was getting a
this
really
is,
good deal.
yeah,
It isn't expected. So anyways, it's only $660 a year increase, which obviously not great, but would cost more than that to move. So I think I'm going to
and you
stay
got
here.
a raise recently,
Yes,
so
and the Met's really great. We get an annual cost of living increase, so it's like not much money, but we all get like a little teeny tiny bump every year
mhm,
to count for New York's rent increases.
yeah.
So that's very nice. But what I think I'm going to do is you can see I have like this little indent that pops out. I think I'm going to peel and stick wallpaper it and make it like a little
Ooh,
accent wall. And I wasn't going to do that until I knew if I was going to re-sign my lease because I didn't want to do it like right before I moved. That's lame. Um, and then I have to talk about free will. Okay. So
well, wait a second. How long are you going to renew it for?
a year.
Ooh, so you're
I
staying?
have
You're
like
staying
no
on
option.
settling down? Well, I didn't know with
Oh.
your boyfriend
No.
graduation,
Yeah, I don't
you're
really
not going
know
to
when he'll
abandon the
be
city.
here. This is I mean, I'm not gonna move. So,
I know, but I don't want you to also be like, oh, well, I'm here because I signed my lease
oh
first.
no, I mean, I could either break my lease or I could just choose to not move. He could either
Right.
choose to not move here until March, or we could choose not to live together until March. But that's a year from me problem
Oh, okay.
because he's going to be in DC for sure, at least until the end of the calendar year.
Oh, okay.
Um, and then okay, so back to free will.
Free will.
Um, I didn't really know what that was until this week when I realized I could make Shirley Temples at home. Um, so you could just like buy grenadine at the
Did did
store.
did we see the same TikTok?
No.
Oh, I saw some TikTok that was like, I have Shirley Temples every afternoon at work
Oh my
because like you
God.
can have a mocktail
I
because they're
literally
like
have
it's not
never
illegal.
had my own thought in my entire life. Every time I think of something so fun and unique, someone else has already done it. Anyways,
And I've seen it on
I bought
TikTok.
my own bottle of grenadine and a Sprite, and then I have cherries, but I already ate all my cherries. So now I just like have a mocktail every night, which is so fun.
That sounds lovely. I yeah, I'm
Okay,
a
and then
fan. Do
one more thing for Kenzie's Corner, and then we can go back to Zoe.
Oh, no, I have nothing.
Last night I saw Aladdin on
Yes.
Broadway.
First, I need to know my first question. What were you wearing?
Broadway?
Yeah.
This exact sweater and leggings.
Okay. I was listening to a podcast as I always do all the time, and they were like talking about how like Broadway's more casual these
Broadway
days.
is definitely more casual these days. The last show I saw, I wore jeans too. I know when we used to go as kids, I swear I wore like a homecoming dress to Broadway. Like not really homecoming, but like I was definitely wearing
A
like
nice
cocktail
dress.
attire for like a 7-year-old.
Hmm.
Whatever that is.
7 year old cocktail. Your nicest church dress.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Hmm.
and some people definitely still wear dresses. I don't think I've seen someone in
Hmm.
like
A ball
necessarily like
gown.
yeah, floor length gown anytime recently, but I personally have gotten if it's on a weeknight, like I don't even wear makeup. Like
Hmm.
I'm because I know when I come home I'm jumping straight into my bed.
Because it's so late.
Yeah, I got home at 9:30. I was in bed by 9:45 and then I was asleep by 10.
So how was it? I didn't even know Aladdin was at Broadway
Yeah, it was really
situation.
good. It's actually been on Broadway in the theater for a really long time because I always like looking at the theater. Here's the thing about Zoe and I. We're girls at the theater. Um,
Theater.
we
Oh, Kinsey is 1,000 times more of a girl at the
no,
theater. I just saw
we
Wicked as a
no,
child.
but like would occasionally we would come to New York every summer. We did it like 3 summers in a row, and we saw a show every time. So I'm always curious about these theaters I go to if it was ever a show that had seen. But Aladdin had been there since 2014, so we hadn't been there because we had never seen Aladdin. It was so good. It is fun. Like these Disney shows are a lot of tourists, but also a lot of kids, as
Mhm.
one would expect. And I think they're adorable. I love being with the little kids because they're just like so amazed and excited, and their parents are always shushing them so dramatically. But it's very good. I do these lotteries, so if you're not from New York or familiar with it, you can enter lotteries for a bunch of different shows, and then you'll get a ticket, and it's like super discounted. Like last night it was $40. And you don't pick your seat or anything. They just like give you seats that were never sold. So you like pick up your ticket like an hour before the show starts. And my seat, normally they're like not great, but not bad. They're usually just like very average. And I would say last night was pretty average. I was up in the balcony. But it was so good. It was part of my New Year's resolution. I want to see more shows.
Nice. How many do you think you've gone to like this year? Are you keeping track?
Yes, this year I went to Lion King and Titanic and Aladdin, and I'm gonna go see Oh Mary in a few weeks, so that'll be my fourth show.
What's that one
Oh
about?
Mary, I'm so happy we're talking to you about this. It's about Mary Todd Lincoln, but it's played by a
Oh,
man, and the
oh,
person I'm seeing is Titus Andromeda.
oh, that's
Here's a
cool.
through line from Zoe and
He's
I.
from The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt,
Yeah, so
an
Titus.
iconic
It's
show.
Titus Burgess, whatever his last name is. But in the show, it's Titus Andromeda, and yeah, he's from the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which is a show I never watched until Zoe was like, "You have to watch that," and it is seriously so good.
It's so good. Tanner hates like I think he just like finds Kimmy unbearable, which is like the whole point of her character is to be a little bit unbearable. It should be the unbearable Kimmy Schmidt.
Yes,
The whole premise of the show is that these were women who were abducted and they're called mole women, and so they were like found and then like they were kidnapped as children, and so then they
yes,
come out into the world and like they're experiencing the world, and she moves to New York City, and then like this Titus guy, he's like in the theater, so it's like also like awesome that like you'll be seeing him on Broadway because that's
yeah,
like his character, that's what he wants to do.
yeah.
But just like it's just such a funny
And I
show.
love there's one of the mole women that has like very serious Stockholm syndrome and is like
Yes.
still wanting to like be a mole woman.
Yes.
Seriously, this show is like 10 years old, but it's so good. And it has
Every time I
one of the
watch it, I
best
laugh
theme
more.
songs of like any scripted
Yes.
television show.
Oh, it's good. It's so chaotic and silly. Oh, that'll be so fun.
I know
I'm
he's
so
only
excited
there
and
for
jealous of
three
you.
weeks, and so like when
Oh my
tickets
gosh.
dropped, it was like Taylor Swift all over again.
Go, go, go. Oh, that's
But
so
yeah, it's
funny.
been fun. I've been going to all these shows by myself, which has been, I thought something really scary, but then it turns out literally no one cares about you, and no one cares about what anyone does. So
I went to dinner by myself the other night when I was in Des Moines for work. And like at first they were like, "Do you want to sit at the bar?" And like, I don't want to sit at the bar because then that like means like some creepy man could also be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this girl wants to meet someone at a bar," which like is probably 2% of the time, and it's not true at all. But also the restaurant was dead. And
Mm.
so I was like, well, if you don't mind, like I'd rather just have like a seat in the corner so I can watch
Yeah.
people or whatever. But like the way the I feel like all the waiters and waitresses like handle you with like kid gloves. Like if you're alone eating
Hmm.
at a restaurant, they're like, "Are you okay?" Like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like don't feel bad. I'm having a good time. I'm reading a book.
So how
Um,
was Iowa?
but Iowa was
What were
good.
you doing there? What were you there for?
So it was a conference and it was only like 60 people, I think, that were at this conference, which like was nice and like intimate and it was like an interactive experience. They were really talking about like succession planning and diversifying like farming operations. It's kind of like a high level, like in like on the first day, people were like working in groups, like coming up with game plans, like intermeshing with people. I wasn't there on the first day. So I was just trying to like fly in, fly out. So I when I got there on the first day, like they had finished at like 5 p.m. and I got there at like 6 or 7. So I just like I flew in, I took myself to a dinner, which was like I got a delicious peanut butter noodle
It looked
situation,
so good.
and I got a cocktail. And I like the thing about Iowa and Des Moines is like it's like Columbus, but maybe like even less intimidating. And I'd been like in this block of hotels before, and like just popping down and like finding a restaurant and navigating by yourself. Like I like that level of like independence. I'm doing this, but it's not like New York City. It's
Hmm.
not like a very intimidating place.
Hmm.
So like I was never like stressed. And then I went back to my room and I watched a 2020 episode on Gabby Petito, and I did
Oh,
my
I watched the
nails.
Netflix documentary
I
on Gabby Petito.
I did as well, like a couple days before that. And so then I was like, a Shark Tank was on, but it wasn't. It was like
Hmm.
wrapping up, and then it was
Classic
on to something
hotel
else.
TV show.
Like that's what I'm always looking for
Me
first.
too.
And I've never watched Shark Tank not at a
Never.
hotel. It's only for hotels. Um, but listen to that. Did my nails for the first time. Did press on nails for the first time. Um, as you can see, they're no longer
They
on.
looked
I did.
beautiful, though.
Yes, I really liked them. And then I realized I had free will, and only one of them broke off. And then I was literally like, ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding. When
I'm
I
the
could have
same
just like
way.
taken the one off and put another one on, and they still have fabulous nails, but now I have sad glue nails. Um, but anyway, yeah, I'm gonna do that so much more in the future, just
Yeah.
because like the way you can just like stick them on and
And
then
you don't
you
have to
have
wait for them to
nails.
dry. Exactly.
Yeah, well, and then it's like for me because like I always like I will mess something up, like, and then
Hmm.
I'll hate the way it looks. But like you can't, the nail's the nail. You just shove them on
The
you.
nail's
But
the
anyway,
nail.
the nail's the nail. So anyway, I go to the thing the next day, and we speak like 10:30 till like noon. So like I went to free breakfast because like breakfast with this thing. I talked to some of the people, asked them like how it was going the day before, and then I like there was like a little bit of a meeting where they were talking about like the market for cows, which wasn't like super um it wasn't beneficial for me because I'm not in the cattle market right now, but it was like still like since I've been taking this marketing class and just like hearing people talk about stocks and stuff, I'm like I have like just the slightest bit more understanding. And so I was like, okay, I'm like kind of understanding the lingo here. And then I was talking with the millennial farmer, Zach Johnson, and Rob Sharkey, who's the shark farmer, two people I like really look up to. So that was like cool. And I didn't get a chance to talk to them like before we went on. So it was kind of nice too. Like it was like, oh, like the way I get to have a conversation with you is like we have to be on stage in front of people.
Hmm.
But it was really good conversations. It was like really easy too. Just like they'd asked us like about why do you diversify, like by doing other things because like we're all first and foremost farmers, but then all do social media, but do like kind of different things because like Rob has a podcast, Zach's like a YouTuber, and I'm like the I don't know.
The
I
social
the
icon. The
they're they're
she
mo- they're
she
both they're
is
both
the
much
moment.
larger. They're much larger. Like these are titans in the industry, and then somehow I weaseled my way onto this panel. Um,
That's what I'm
I just
saying.
appreciate
She
them.
is
I
the
just
moment.
appreciate them reaching out because it made me feel really cool. And I wish people would have taken more photos so I could be like, look at me up here with these folks. But anyway, it was just like a really good and easy conversation. It wasn't like a keynote speech where I have to go and be like, I hope these people care about this message I have. Like it was just like asking questions and giving answers on something that feels like very common to me. There was only one question that I was like, oh, I should have said this answer instead of that answer. Like, I'll always have something critical to say.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then I booked my flight to like skedaddle immediately before I knew what the schedule of events was. And so the other two, they were smart. They stuck around because the main guy from the Duck Hunter show was like the keynote speaker after us. I can't think of his name. He's like
From
Sadie
Duck
Robinson's dad.
Dynasty? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Duck Dynasty, the like main guy. I don't know. I
I
can't
don't
even
know
think of his
his name, but
name.
I know Sadie Robinson.
Yeah, and I haven't watched the show since like high school, but like I still thought it was like a cool like because like I'm like, oh, I know who that person is. And I would have loved to like have heard what he, I don't even know what his like speech was about or whatever, but I had to like go to the airport before he
He's
like showed
also
up.
a
And
social icon. He is the moment.
yes, he is. Yeah, well, and they're like revamping the show, I guess. And so like I
Oh,
think this is like probably him getting, I don't know if he just like does this all the time, but it turns out like the show's coming back in
take
like
a
a
guess.
new
What do you
revamped
think his
way.
name is before I tell you what it is?
Um I should know because I literally was like looking at all these people like tagging him in pictures and then like it was on my agenda. It's not Psy. It's like something normal. Um, something
Is it Willie?
will yeah, I
I only
think.
know that because I just looked up an episode and it was the title is When Willie is Away.
Yeah. I think that's his name. William. Is it Robertson? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched the show,
Oh, okay. So we watched it in high school.
but I do know Sadie Robinson. She her like TikToks find me.
Yeah. But anyway, I just like wanted thought it was like because it would have been like cool like to see a TV person, I guess.
Yeah.
But I had to leave for the airport before. And then the my second flight got delayed. So I spent like 4 hours at the Minnesota. No, it's Saint something MSP, Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, wherever Love Is Blind is at.
That's
That's where
definitely
I was.
Minnesota.
Yeah. So it was just funny
Are you
because
watching
like
Love is Blind right now?
yeah,
Okay,
I've never
me
watched
too.
it
Me
before.
too.
I started with season 8 for
That's
some reason.
insane.
And the only reason I'm watching it is because I've heard negative reviews about it. The people are like, "This is the most boring season
It
ever," and then I'm
is.
like,
It
I click
really
it on.
is.
Yeah. Um, the thing I find the most wild about Love Is Blind is like I was watching a TikTok and someone was like, "Yeah, my friends went on the show. They fell in love. They got married. They didn't air them because they were just like a normal couple." And
Yeah,
so then it's like, "Oh, so you just found someone and married them within a month, and then it wasn't even on
I
TV?"
know. It's really crazy. It's some of these couples, I think one even was like sued them for like literally zero airtime. Um,
Yeah, it's just weird. Like,
I know.
I don't
You
know.
would think
And
that
it's
like
like,
Netflix would like want to air the successes.
yeah, but like apparently they were just like too
They're
normal
just
and boring.
boring.
But like just maybe make note of like, oh hey, a 15-minute clip at the end, and then it's like a montage of this one happy couple just being happy the whole time.
I
I don't know.
know.
But
Um,
anyway, it was just funny because I was like watching the show and I was like, huh, never been there besides yesterday. Like, but like I wasn't really there. I was just like at the
I do
airport.
appreciate all their Minnesota accents.
I didn't really even notice their
Oh,
accent.
I have. And I like that all the guys look the exact same, but like if they were in
Oh,
a different font.
I don't know any of their names.
Oh, I don't know any of their names either.
Yeah. But I don't know. It was just like, yeah. But anyway, that trip was fun. It was easy. I only have one more for work trip. I'm wishing I went to Commodity Classic, which is like a show that's like next week because I've had like 6 people reach out like, "Hey, are you coming to this?" I'm like, "Man, I maybe I should have gone, but I I need to be home. I have things to do. Work is piling up." Um, Speaking about work, should I tell you about my employee situation?
Yes, are you hiring?
No.
Oh.
No, no. It's actually perfect. But I was nervous because so Colin, he is like the high schooler who's worked on the farm. Yesterday he called and he's like, "Hey, I have strawberries to deliver," because like our parents bought
I
strawberries from the
heard.
FFA, and he was like, "And I need to talk to you." And I was like, ominous. And then of course I wasn't going to be like, "What's this about?" Because like that's not,
No, but that is
I'm sure I don't
ominous.
know. I'm like, oh, da da da. And I was like, of course,
Colin.
on my way to Poet. So it's like, oh, well, I won't be back to the shop for an hour, but we can meet in an hour. So then the whole time I'm like, oh, Colin's leaving, obviously. Or Colin hates me. And I don't know why Colin would just
Why
like
would this this poor high
set up a
schooler have
meeting.
beef
Like, I
with
hate
you?
you. Yeah. Hey, by the way, I hate you. No, I don't know. But I was like, oh my gosh, like what's gonna
Yeah,
happen? But
you
like
talk
I
yourself into
assumed
anything.
he found better employment just because like I don't have like a full-time hours for him in the summer and or like, this time of year or whatever. And so he gets here and then my freaking drone guy, the guy I just purchased a drone off of, who I gave my business to, stole my employee. Um so luckily, he can actually like do both because he'll start like spraying fungicide. It's like June-ish to like September-ish. So like you obviously don't spray like during fall and you don't spray during planting really with like a drone. And so like I'll still have access to him and it'll actually be really good if he'll get like all this experience with the drone. So
Hmm.
then when I have to call and be like, hey, I don't know how to fly my drone, like I can have the guy who works for me be the person who like
Yeah,
guides me
tells you.
through it and I
Yeah.
won't like I'll feel more comfortable asking stupid questions to him and such. um but it's good because I won't feel as much pressure to like try to come up with like I was just making you mow the yard last year and it's like I don't want to give you demeaning work. But like I mean it's either you're
Yeah,
gonna mow
you're
the
a
yard or I'm
drone
gonna mow the
boy.
yard. Now I use drone boy. So and we were talking about like he hasn't taken his like drone test yet. So we were like chit chatting about that and stuff. No, but no, it'll be good.
That's
But
exciting.
I need to confront uh my
Yeah,
the
your
drone guy to be
drone
like,
guy
hey,
is
you're
poaching your employees.
encroaching
Next
on
thing
my
you know,
employees.
JD's gonna have to give you his 2 weeks.
If JD gives me his 2 weeks, I'm giving myself my 2 weeks.
That's it. We gave it a good shot.
Okay. And we're out.
No, I meant that's it, like with the farm.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Oh,
saying. We're
okay. And
out.
I mean, like we're done filming, which like we can also be done filming.
No, we're gonna have to lean into the filming because this will be all I have.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really interesting me trying to fake being a farmer for my social media.
It's gonna be, yeah, really awkward when you build a social media platform of being a farmer and then you're no longer a farmer.
I've only had like one or two people ever ask me like, "Oh, would you like ever quit farming to like do social media full time?" Like, what would I do?
Yeah.
And also like, no, never. Like, it's such an unreliable like I don't
Yeah,
know.
remember TikTok almost disappeared a month ago?
It's still allegedly going to at some point, I think.
Yeah, I
Well, I
don't
don't
know.
know. Where were you when TikTok came back?
I was in Queens at game night, my friend Kristen's house.
Oh, nice. See, I was at a cheerleading competition and I was like, there was just like a row of girls and they all stood up with their phones and they were like screaming and jumping up and down. And they were like, you could see on their screens it was TikTok and they were like getting back into their accounts. And I was like, give me at least a day off.
Do
I didn't,
do you have
I
any
didn't.
fun upcoming plans?
Fun upcoming plans. So my friend Nicole is going to get married, and then my friend Emily is going to get married. And then I'm going to go learn about sweet potatoes. So I'm going to DC in 2 weeks, and then I'm going to Cincinnati is Nicole's wedding, and then Emily's is in Canada, and then I'm also going to see Emily this weekend because her grandmother passed away unfortunately. Which
Oh, it's so sad.
did you know her? She's like kind of like an adjacent neighbor to us, but like I don't know if you're like old enough to.
Yeah, I know, I definitely know of her. And what I found, I was reading through her obituary, and her and then Emily's mother, twins. Like they look so similar. And then Ellen,
uh,
twin. Like sometimes family genes, like copy paste.
yeah, I think that whole family looks very similar. But like I would also even say like Emily's aunt, who's like not related to her, looks like
Oh.
Emily. Like I don't know, in my opinion. Like, but it might just be because I like categorize them all as my head as like that family. And
Hmm.
so it just like, I don't know. But lovely woman. I also read the obituary too. And I really liked they had mentioned that she like her most important or one of her important roles was like being a farm wife and she like
Hmm.
drove the farm truck to like the elevator and stuff. And I just like I thought that was like a very sweet reminder that like women have been out here doing this like forever.
Ever. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and I forgot kind of that she like played the organ at their church. Like we've
Hmm.
been to their church on occasion for different things. I was like, oh yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't know,
Pillar
but
of the
it was
community.
yeah, yeah. So sad reason for seeing her now, but also happy to see her.
Yeah.
Um, so
Shout
yeah,
out
do you
to
have any
Emily. Emily is a
exciting?
loyal sister friend listener.
Yeah, she's gonna listen to this and be like, nope, gone. Bye. I don't know why she. I don't. Hi, Emily.
Um,
We love you.
no, I have no exciting plans. I'm going to DC this weekend. Um, I don't know. I live day by day. I need to like be on a beach, honestly. Like I need to be next to a pool with some sand and some sun. I'm like the palest I've ever been in my entire life because I haven't been fake tanning because I'm like, what's the point? I don't see anybody. But I'm in dire need of vitamin D.
How's your back doing with your tan that you got 45 years ago?
Should we check?
Still there? Yeah.
Jeez.
If you miss this, Kenzie got sunburned a couple of years ago, and it's okay. Yeah, it's faint. The lighting, you can tell the lighting here isn't good, but I can see those X's on it.
Zoe and
It, I,
we took a trip what 3 years ago now?
yeah, yeah. Maybe like
3.
2021.
No,
I
I
don't
think it was
know.
2022 because it was when I lived up in East
Okay,
Harlem. And
okay.
like the first day I just like laid out. I didn't put sunscreen on like a
And it was
crazy
cold
person.
out. Like it was cold but sunny. Like
I
roasted to
received
the
like
crisp.
the worst
Received.
sunburn. I think like the worst it could be
Worst
without
sunburn
like
ever.
seeking medical attention.
In hindsight, we should have gotten you a back transplant that
I
day.
Zoe had to put aloe on me, and I was like, I'm not kidding, getting
Crying.
sobbing on the couch. And then like the next day, I literally just couldn't do anything.
No, and I
I
had
was
like a
like
minor
too
burn.
sick to eat. Like,
Yeah, I had like a minor burn, which like in hindsight was like a normal burn, but like it was like I couldn't even bring it up because it was like because he
like
was
I'm pretty sure I
obviously
burned my like
because
internal organs. Like it soaked all the way
because he
through.
was purple, and it was like also the worst because it was like the first day of the trip, so then the whole rest of the
A
time you're like
week was
hiding from the
horrible.
sun.
And it was like,
So
of
bad,
course,
but it's still
the
there.
worst swimsuit. It was like
Yeah.
this one that there's like 75 X's down the back, and it was a one piece. Like,
Well, thank goodness. Like, what if you had that on the front too?
I guess that's true, but and it's not for lack of exfoliating. I dry brush every night. Like I am trying to get rid of it.
Uh,
It's
have
fine.
you been to a beach since?
No,
When you were saying like I'm going to a beach, like I'd like to be a beach. I'm like I can't picture you at a beach. Like you've gone on
I
some
actually
fabulous trips. You've
hate
been to
beaches. That's the thing
Paris.
about me. I actually really only like pools.
Oh, is you want to be at a pool
I
somewhere?
would like to be at an all-inclusive resort somewhere.
That would be nice.
I'm definitely like not a beach person. I think it's the fair skin and the dark hair and the living in New
Yeah.
York
Well,
City.
no. See, I'm a beach person because like I'd rather look at that than pool because I'm allergic to chlorine,
Mm.
and then but it's like I also want to be like hiding because I'm afraid of the sun. But then I also hate like my feet getting the sandy. So I don't
That's the
know.
thing.
Yeah,
I hate when my feet get sandy, like wet and then sandy. The worst.
hmm
I love a
yeah.
pool, but whatever, it's fine. Okay, we're at 45 minutes. I'm sure there's no one left listening. If you are, please subscribe to Zoe. She needs you in case she has to quit farming. And I'm
Use all my employees put in their 2 weeks. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Like, share, subscribe.
okay, ta-ta.